No, thanks very much indeed, Ceann Comhairle. It's an honour to have the opportunity to make a transition statement at this time, because it is, I suppose, we're almost at the first anniversary of the publication of Ireland's first ever whole of government climate action plan, which was published, I think it was around the 17th of June of last year. And I think we have indeed made significant progress in the Oireachtas and in government over that period. As you will know, in the intervening period, we have had the resolution of the Oireachtas, which was unanimous, declaring a climate and biodiversity emergency. We have had government publish the heads of the bill, the scheme of the bill, which will revolutionise the way in which we deal with climate. That will introduce for the first time 5-year climate budgets. It will set a target for the 2050 net zero that Ireland aspires to deliver. So that will be very significant. It will also introduce entirely new accountability within the House, instead of this sort of transition statement, which, to be honest, came into disrepute within the House. We will have each minister sectorally responsible. We will have a powerful Oireachtas committee that will have similar powers to the Public Accounts Committee, which will be overseeing our responsibilities in respect of climate. So that will be a very significant change for the House. We've also passed here the commitment to a carbon price, the first increase of that carbon price, with that money hypothecated, as the economists would say. In other words, all of the proceeds from that are being used to drive on climate action, either in the form of just transition, where we've had significant packages for the Midlands, or supporting those who are least equipped to fund the sort of changes, with schemes like Warmer Homes, the fuel scheme, and of course driving change, such as increasing our activities in all types of measures that deliver climate change. So another very significant milestone. We've also signed the National Broadband contract, which was signed in January. And I think people will see that in the course of the COVID-19 crisis, how significant that has been as providing an alternative to our conventional ways that are highly carbon dependent of travelling and working, to using remote working opportunities. They certainly have revolutionised the way people are now working. Of course, it will be a challenge to try and retain those structural changes, but I think we have shown the potential there is if we do go down a line of having every home, every premises in the country connected to high-speed broadband. It can have a significant impact on the way we do our business. Ireland also, in that intervening period, has signed up to the new EU Green Deal, which, as you know, it is again an ambitious statement by Ursula von der Leyen, the new President of the European Commission, where Europe, which had a target of 40% reduction on 1990 levels, have increased that to 50 to 55%. That is a significant step up, and it will require Ireland to make a significant step up beyond what we have in the Climate Action Plan, and work is going on in how that will be done. I suppose internally to the department, it's worth saying, giving you an account of some of the changes that we have made also. We have the first renewable energy auction of the new variety has now been published and will shortly be receiving applications. It has a 10% pot for solar, as well as other open competition for others. It also, I think, importantly, I think the House will be glad to learn, it has a reservation for community generation, so renewable energy generated by community organisations. There is a reservation for them. There will be a community gain, which will represent €2 for every megawatt hour generated. So that will go into a fund to benefit communities. And we are still pressing, although we haven't got agreement this time round from the European Union, to have a community participation element, where effectively a shareholding element could be obtained by the community. A design had been made, but it hasn't, because of their state aid element, we haven't got approval for that yet, but it's something that we will persist with for the next round. We will be publishing at the end of June waste and circular economy strategy, which will seek to deliver our ambitions, such as in the area of eliminating all non-recyclable plastics, halving food waste, and so on. Many very ambitious changes. We have the retrofit task force and indeed the Midlands initiative, 20 million Midlands pilot. Those are both well advanced, but unfortunately COVID-19 has put paid to hitting the ground with that Midlands programme. But the work in designing an aggregated scheme so that we could, I suppose, treat areas in very large packages and get very substantial work done together by a whole lot of homes together to a high level. That design of that scheme is well advanced, and that's something that I think will be essential to our longer term ambitions. I think you will also know that we have signed the interconnector with France. That is a significant project. We've issued the new arrangements for renewable heat. We have started the rollout of new electric vehicle chargers with the ESB, and both local authorities having started to roll out the commitment, which together is over the next couple of years 1,200 in local authorities and 700 in the ESB, and the first major hub on the N7 is in advanced preparation, and that will shortly go live. We've committed, of course, to the extension of the smoky coal ban, and we've developed a very significant just transition package. As you know, the closure within the Midlands was accelerated due to the decision of An Bord Pleanála, and we've put in place a just transition package that is now live in the Midlands in terms of applications for funds. The renewable, at least the restoration of bogs, has commenced under the contract from the Department of Heritage, and that is live. I suppose the other encouraging thing is there is the latest data shows the biggest, 2019 was the biggest ever reduction in carbon from energy use, so a very significant milestone in 2019. And energy is showing, the electricity sector is showing very strong performance as we increasingly displace fossil fuels by renewable sources. Renewable energy is now around 36% of our generation, and that is something that obviously we need to accelerate to reach the 70% target in the climate plan. Obviously 2020 is an important year, and that's the year in which calculations will occur to decide what is the shortfall. The shortfall obviously was predicted to be involve a fine of maybe between 6 and 13 million on the carbon emissions side. Now with the situation in 2020, it will be less than that certainly. Though the more significant fines will probably apply to Ireland in respect of the renewable target, where we will have a shortfall. Work is continuing, obviously, on the National Climate and Energy Plan to be submitted to the EU, because both it and the long-term strategy are ones that require a new government to sign off on. They are somewhat delayed. We've published the 12 sectoral adaptation plans. That's across 12 sectors. They involve every part of government. I suppose they're across 4 themes: our natural and cultural assets, if you like, water and flood, critical infrastructure and health. They're the 4 themes in which we have 12 separate strategies to anticipate the adverse impact that may come with climate and fortify our infrastructures against them. We have the 4 climate action regional offices up and running. This is covering the local authorities, Mayo, Cork, Dublin and Kildare. And one of the things that I've been particularly keen to do is to have a very detailed and rolling programme of consultation with people in both sectorally, regionally, with young people, with various interests. And we've had, I'd say, more than a dozen of those consultations, as well as the big, more formal events such as in Croke Park before we launched the Climate Action Plan. It's really important, in my view, that we bring people with us on what is a very challenging journey. So, just to say in conclusion, I think this is the biggest challenge of our generation. It will require people to change habits of a lifetime. It will require mobilising huge amounts of capital to redirect the economy and society. And it will require people accepting different infrastructure from what they're used to. And it's really important that we in the Oireachtas provide leadership on that journey. And I certainly look forward in this coming Oireachtas to working with deputies on all sides of the House to make sure that our resolution passed in the last Dáil to address the climate challenge becomes the lodestar of this Dáil, as we seek to demonstrate to our own people, but also to the wider world, that we are taking this threat to our environment deadly seriously.